Hey, Kliq This fans, want to get closer to the show than ever? Join Kliq This TV. Kliq This TV offers early commercial-free access to wrestling's hottest podcast, plus live audience tapings of their show every friggin' week, and your chance to participate with Kevin and Sean in the monthly Nash and Friends watch-along show. Head to KliqThisTV.com now and get inside the show that's just too sweet.
The following podcast contains mature language and adult discussion.
I think I'm falling ill. I need a colostrum, I think, to combat the onset of aches. I'm a little congested. I apologize in advance. Anyone listening that will now be critical of how it sounds to listen to me for an entire show. Kev, what do you do? You're the picture of health all the time.
Fuck.
You take.
I tell you what, man.
Oscillococcinum?
I went. No. I went to the big event weekend before last up in Long Island.
Ask you how Long Island was.
It was fucking cold.
Yes, it is.
And it was in that stage of going. We stayed at a Marriott. And it was in that stage where the air didn't work anymore. Like they'd already shut the air conditioning off.
Yeah.
So now it's like you basically, if you put the heat on, if you put it on 70, the heat came on, and it was that, I can't take manufactured heat like that dry heat. So I just froze. I laid in bed and froze. And got up that morning, took a shower, and then went to the signing and was underdressed for that, thinking I could pack a little tiny backpack and not grab a bag. And I mean, just by the time I got on the plane, and then everybody was on the plane, had their vents open, and it was like 70, probably 68 on the plane, and it was a 2-hour flight home. And it was like, holy fuck, man. Like I got home. There's a guy called Dr. Schultz. He's out of Santa Monica, and he sells this product. It's what is it? It's called the product. He makes all kinds of things. He makes superfood, but he makes a product called Super Tonic. And I absolutely hate garlic, but this is like got, it's got cayenne and garlic, and I did, like you're supposed to do like 2 droppers of this shit, and I drank half a bottle when I got home. And
Doc, there he is.
That's it right there,
Doc
baby.
Schultz. It sounds like a guy sitting in the back of the saloon where you can go buy a little bottle of something.
I tell you what, man.
Go see Doc Schultz.
That's the immune boosting. That's the deal, baby. So
you averted illness.
I averted.
From your
I woke up
weekend in the cold.
I woke up the next morning, and I was just like, wow, and I felt like great. I felt like ready to go to the gym and everything else, but yeah, really, just man, it just that cold weather was.
I didn't do my November escape to Florida this year. I was supposed to go last week.
I know, fucking. I got a call from Shula. He says, "What's the fuck with your boy, man?"
at Shula's?
Yeah, he said. I said he blew it off. He went to Bumpy's or wherever the hell that place you went to. I look like some fucking mob place you went to. That little place.
Oh, Don Cheech.
Yeah, Don. Yeah.
Don Cheech in Staten Island. Oh, what food though! My God.
What kind of cuisine is that?
Right.
No, I mean, what? I don't know.
Right.
It's Italian, right?
Don Cheech in Staten Island. It's Italian.
You know.
And yeah, oh my, I had
With the cheech, it could be fucking, Vietnamese. I don't know.
Well, I'm thinking it's probably a reference to Don Cheech, who De Niro goes back and kills in Sicily in The Godfather 2. Not to be confused with Willie Chi-Chi from Godfather 1, played by Joe Spinell. Anyway, I had
that's right. Who was it? You and RJ were talking about this, that you guys are the mob aficionados.
Oh, no, RVD.
Was it RVD?
RVD, yeah.
RVD, yeah.
Oh, he's hardcore. He is no joke.
I saw RVD was next to me during the signing.
How's he looking? He looks great,
Good.
right?
Yeah, Rob knows he's great.
I had a pounded veal chop, bone in, which I usually get if I can get it somewhere. Like Bond45 in New York. I was there last week.
How many ounce?
It's a good question. It was the size of an elephant's nut, pounded flat. So, yeah, it was so tender. It was amazing. And now Bond45 is one of the places I like to get it at. And I was at Bond actually that same week. So in the same week, I got 2 pounded veal chops. And but you know what? Bond45 started putting a little pepperoni on theirs. And it added an interesting twist. Steve will be bringing up the 2 to compare in just a moment as he opens his phone. And I have to give it to Don Cheech. I have to give the veal chop winner to Don Cheech. My daughter got a truffle. She loves truffle, so she got a truffle cream sauce at Don Cheech with a ravioli, and it wasn't the typical big fat folded raviolis. They looked like those little poppers that you used to smash on the floor, and they would pop when you were a kid. Like, imagine a larger version of that, just twisted with some ricotta inside in a Parmesan cream in a truffle cream sauce. It was unbelievable. Needless to say, I was off the diet that night. So this is Don Cheech's. It came with a spiral pasta.
It almost looks like it's a Parmesan.
It is. So
Okay.
they put the fresh mutts on top, and then that's a spicy vodka sauce over spiral pasta because it needed some more food on the plate. So if you look at this, and now this was Bond45. Now if you zoom into that, you'll see that on top of the Parmesan, it is covered with pepperoni.
I said, to me, that would take away too much of the veal taste.
I just was going to say the taste of the veal lost to the pepperoni.
Yep.
So I wouldn't have done that aspect of it again.
They probably hit your ass with a pork chop. You didn't even know it.
So I'm eating healthy. I'm good. How was the convention though?
That it was the big event, and Tommy runs that, and they always run that in Flushing.
No, in Queens. Yeah, in Queens, next to LaGuardia, right across from the airport. Yeah.
And they moved it out. God, what was the name of that? They moved it out someplace. There's a college. It was about
Hofstra?
40-minute. No, it was a small college. It's like a 40-minute, 45-minute drive.
Past the city?
Yeah, out.
Oh.
Out Long Island. And the building was big, and there wasn't that many signees there, and it just didn't, like, when we pulled up at 9:30, I'm thinking, the old, they were running, the last time I did the big event, they ran it at the Marriott right there across from LaGuardia.
Mm-hmm.
They ran at that Marriott. They used their like the convention center, and I remember walking downstairs and I mean, it was like wall to wall people, and this, and it was too packed, and you couldn't get a line in front of you, and it was so. Tommy moved it out, but I think he moved it too far out, and it just didn't have the
larger venue at the airport, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, you just you're in a much better demo, especially just per capita in that area around LaGuardia.
When I think of the LaGuardia, I think there was a hotel called the LaGuardia Hotel, where
wasn't that they used to do it at the Plaza? Was that what it was called? Like
LaGuardia Plaza at LaGuardia, maybe. I know LaGuardia is in the name somewhere, I think.
Yeah.
You might be right, LaGuardia Plaza.
And then you walked in, and it was it looked like at one point you could tell it was a really high-end.
Really big lobby.
Yeah.
Really big lobby. A parking deck attached to it.
Yep. That's where they ran it there, then they switched it. But before that, they ran it in that small little building that was over by where the Opens played.
Oh, I don't know.
Over by the where the World Expo was in New York. There was a building, they ran it there for a while, and that would be just, God, it was brutal how fucking just packed and hot that was. So
when I think of that hotel, I think of our in the kayfabe commentaries days, the cursed Buff Bagwell shoot, where he was carried into the lobby. I recount this in the opening chapter of my book.
Was that before or after he was vaccinated?
From the condition, I might say afterwards. But that was at that location. He on one of his socials, he tagged me or referenced me, and he's like, "This is somebody that I have to apologize to." I guess he's clean, or was at the time of the text. And
I've heard that I heard that the situation he had was what he said. It has been clean, and it was something that he was.
Oh, right. When we heard that there was a relapse, yeah,
it was something he was dealing with that was prior that he's.
But he did tweet that I'm someone he owed an apology. Then I read that his Twitter was hacked, so I don't know if it was him. I'm willing to hear his apology. I don't hold a grudge. Jesus, it gave me a great introduction to that book. People still talk about it to this day. The carrying of Buff in, and then the carrying of Buff out. So all right, and a quick flight, right? You were same day in and out.
No, I left Daytona Beach at 6:27 p.m. I got in at 11:12. That motherfucking LaGuardia Airport now, man, since they finished it.
So they overhauled that too?
Holy shit.
Wow.
I mean, it's like they got signs like, so of course, when you land that late, you go to the farthest gate from baggage claim that's available. I mean, that's a give me. So when when you come out of the jetway and you look behind, the only place to look is in front of you, because there's fucking three walls. Two
you're
on
in
this
the circular, the end of the aisle.
You're going this way. You're going forward. So, I'm walking, and I'm like, you have to take the escalator. I'm in the 70s, and I had to take the escalator up. Okay, so I'm in gate 79, I think is what gate I left, or I landed in. And I took the escalator up, and then there was a sign that basically said, from here to baggage claim is a 6-minute walk. So it was a 6-minute, and they had one small little patch that had a moving sidewalk.
I was going to ask about that.
Yeah, one moving sidewalk, and then you go down. I mean, it's a I mean, the job they did on it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the old days, man, LaGuardia Delta, you got out, you walked. Even from that back, you walked past that sushi place down that little small escalator, and then to your left was the baggage claim. It had maybe 3 baggage claim. You know, so it was.
Yeah, the emphasis, I think, is returning. I don't know about all around the country, but here between Newark, when they started with, I think, Terminal C was the first one. I think they're doing all of them, like really decking them out.
Because JFK's been all redone.
Yeah, so maybe the trend is starting everywhere, hopefully.
Yep.
Feedback from last week's show. I know that Gregory Crook was listening because he said, I never miss Kliq This. Sean and Kev are great and great together. Also, that closing theme song by T is really brilliant. We agree with you, Gregory.
Thanks, Ming.
Eric Bischoff here again, telling you about our friends over at SaveWithConrad.com. Now, Conrad's always talking about how they are helping homeowners save money, but did you know that Conrad and his team can also help you become a homeowner? They make the home buying process more enjoyable than, I don't know, making out with Stephanie and Linda. Ouch! But don't take my word for it.
Hi, I'm Sarah Davis, and I'm from Nashville, Tennessee. So my husband has been a huge fan of Conrad's podcast for many, many years. And for years, we were on road trips, and he would have me listen to it. And then I got really into it. And so when it came time for us to buy a house, it was kind of like, there's really no other option at this point. Like, we have to go down this path, right? It was the best. I worked with Steve. I don't know what to do. I was looking more for preparing to buy a house. How do I get this in order? What does this need to look like? What do I need to move around? What's more important that I pay off first? Because I'm a first-time home buyer. I don't know what that needs to look like. So that's when I called you guys and I talked with Steve, and phenomenal from day one. I got a full education on home buying before I was ever asked to fill out an application, before I was ever asked to do anything, which is just, I mean, I cannot brag on you guys enough. I literally cannot tell enough people about you, because we would not have a home if it weren't for you, if it weren't for that interaction and weren't for the learning process. And I feel like I went into being a first-time home buyer by the time we got through the end of the process with the same education that people need 4 or 5 homes to buy. And so now I feel like, all right, well, we can do this. We can do real estate. I can actually make good decisions and ask good questions at closing and beyond because of everything that you taught me. My name is Sarah Davis, and I got into my dream home with Save with Conrad.
And unlike the dirt sheets, we're not making this up. Check out all the 5-star reviews. Go to SaveWithConrad.com and do it today. You'll be grateful you did.
NMLS number 65084, equal housing lender. Woo!
Matt Lingo said, this was my favorite comment of the week, by the way. My wife doesn't like wrestling, but we both look forward to coming home Monday to watch Kliq This. Thanks for giving us another source of entertainment for us to watch together. Nothing gets the ladies hotter than sitting down on the couch with their man and putting on a little Kliq This. Little blue. What happens when the BLUECHEW ad gets read, Matt Lingo?
Bam.
You let us know. Corey S. Morgan.
Has anybody got evidence of bringing their spouse to over the 3-minute point of orgasm?
So far, the 3-minute, and I wish I had the name accessible, but the 3-minute BLUECHEW induced orgasm was
a
the
3-minute constant orgasm. If you like look at it, like set your phone for 3 minutes.
It's unsettling to think about.
It's good. I mean, I remember there was a girl in college that was like one of the first girls that was like a multiple that, like, once she had one, it just was kind of like she'd have the major one at the beginning of her orgasm spike, And then after that, it was just kind of like almost like a like a fucking heartbeat,
Right.
Just kind of like every 20 seconds she'd have another contraction, and it wasn't like she'd tap; she would just ride it until until you tapped.
At a certain point, and I think we're coming from a man's perspective here, so we're ready for the sandwich, and the game.
Speak for yourself.
When we're done, yeah. Well, I absolutely will speak for myself. I'm ready for a pounded veal chop.
Not me.
A bone in.
Yeah,
when the bone's out, the bone in comes. But so you're multi-orgasmic. I feel like we're doing Dr. Ruth's show here. So
no, I'm saying that
you need every man needs a refractory period, right?
Yeah, but I've I did this with my son. When we first started talking, I said, you buy an egg timer. And I was told this by our neighborhood fucking when you masturbate, you fucking set an egg timer for a half hour.
Did the priest tell you that down the street?
No.
Yeah.
But you set an egg timer for a half hour, and what you do is you train yourself to be a marathon runner and not a fucking sprinter. So once you do a half hour, then you do 45 minutes. If you can, that's.
You're talking about the time.
Just when you get yourself, I'm talking about this is just when you're dating yourself.
Yes.
And you're not trying to. So many guys are, especially growing up like I did in a one bathroom house. If you're rocking the fucking bathroom for 45 minutes, you're in some trouble.
You're saying to prolong the masturbatory experience for 30 minutes?
At minimum, yeah.
Why?
To fucking
You could be out. You got stuff to do.
Yeah, to make the woman you're with fucking give her some pleasure. Anybody can fucking quick nut somebody.
No, there's ways to prolong. Think about a garbage can full of dead babies or something.
Why would you do that when you could fucking be rocking and rolling and not this? It goes on sensation, and if you've conditioned yourself to take that kind of friction for that long, then you're gonna be fine.
My biceps would be fucking amazing, right?
Ah.
We got to stop covering the same topics that JR does on Grilling with JR every week. So we got to get off this.
Yeah, that's true.
People have already heard it this week. Corey S. Morgan says, I'm a commercial fisherman in the Pacific Northwest. Been listening since episode 1, Scott Hall. I have turned my deckhand buddies onto the show, and we listen to the show while we're on deck. Thanks for all the entertainment. So if you guys are listening now, thank you for the shout out. What's the haul this week, Corey? What are you guys pulling in there in the Pacific Northwest? What fish would be indigenous to the Pacific Northwest?
Pacific Northwest right now.
You know who would know? Kevin Sullivan would know.
Yeah. There's a big storm coming out that way.
Hope you avoid it, Corey. Mitch3384. Hey, Kev. Something I've been wanting to drop on you once enough time has passed. Do you have any musical experience playing instruments? I find learning the music
this one
by someone you admire allows you to get to know them in a different way. It wouldn't take a huge amount of work to learn guitar or bass and eventually start learning the music that Tristan wrote. Also, before you say it, plenty of big guys play guitar. Don't even try them. My hands are too big excuse. What do you think of that?
Well,
do you play anything, first of all?
when you're spending 45 minutes jerking off, you really got time?
I was going to say, other than that, do you play with anything
really,
else?
You really got time for guitar? Fucking hell, man.
If you put frets on your cock, maybe you
My Sherry Amor.
Nick Morris, with that lunch Sean had, he must be full of gas. Cabbage and quinoa. Please, Big Sexy, please write this guy a meal plan. Your meal plan's designed for high-intensity workouts.
No, my meal plan is fucking... It's just... How do you explain it? It's not for taste.
Right.
It's for nutrition.
That's where we got in trouble. We were walking around eating plants out of the ground, killing something, throwing it on a fire, and just eating the fucking bison, right? Somewhere along the line, I don't know where it is, someone went, let's make this taste good. That's when we were fucked. That is the moment it was over. When we didn't eat for sustenance, growth, and the sustaining the human race, when we ate because something tasted good, we were done.
When you eat and your concern is micros or macros, like when you're looking at it going, okay, I need 8 ounces of chicken. I need, and as you get older and you follow like different guys to get ready for contests, like if you take a regular potato and you cook it, and then you cook it a second time, the second time it cuts the carbohydrates of that potato like in half. So you're cutting your carbs back. And they've also got now a bunch of different supplements that they've found that they don't block absorption of carbs, but they cut the carbohydrates back. So I take that CJ 6-12-90, whatever it is, but it's got that impamorelin, and it's a growth hormone.
Oh.
But it also it's not a growth hormone. But what it basically is, it's a peptide that makes your body increase its own growth hormone, but it has, instead of having an 8-hour time half-life, it's got an 8-day half-life. So you're taking like 1.5 IUs instead of taking 3 or 4 IUs. And it increases. Number one, it's amazing for sleep.
Huh.
It's great for bone density for women. It burns body fat. It adds lean muscle mass. It's great for your heart health. So it's like, to me, like, you know. And it's best to take it on an empty stomach. So you've got to plan your meals so that, you know, that last 2 hours before you go to bed, that like right before I go to sleep, I take my little. I mean, in an insulin needle, it's like you don't even know you're taking it.
Huh. What's it called again?
It's CJ. Is it CJC? I think it's $12.95.
Now, is Doc Schultz mixing this up in the back of the saloon? Or
no, this is just something I'm milking out at the 45-minute mark.
Okay.
So.
While you look for that, I'm going to tell everyone that Eric Conradson said Sean and Kevin discuss drinking juice as part of Sean's diet. Kevin, my wife juices every night. Tamara walks through the house with her face a crimson mask. I popped at that. I'm sorry.
It's CJC 1295, and it would be IPA. So IPA Moreland. IPA MORELIN.
Oh, I thought India Pale Ale was going to be added to this.
No, it's IPA MORE, and you can get the CJC 1295 without the IPA Moreland, but it's a that's that. There we go. Fucking Steve is just killing it tonight.
With the visuals. He's
Fucking
all
hell!
over.
I'm trying to. I can't stay up with him. It's like he's not even human.
No, well,
It's
I have a theory. I'll bring that up later, but I have a theory about how he's functioning.
Something's going on.
At
He
such
told
a
me
high
the other
level.
day. He called me up. He just out of the clear blue. He always just texts, and he called me, and I said, "What's up?" He goes, "What vaccine did you get?" And I said, "Why?" And he goes, "Just curious." I said, "Pfizer." And he goes, "Okay." He just hung up the phone on me. I was like, that was strange.
Yeah. Well, should we let the world in on what we've learned? I guess.
Well,
This would be as good a time.
I mean,
as any.
this is like, I hate to be like, we're so opinionated.
As we're told.
We're absolutely so fucking liberal.
As we're told.
As we're told. Before we go into this, so I just want to say something.
It's your show.
It's our show. Today, I'm going to call him the dictator of China, had a sit down in San Francisco with the president of, the guy that stole the fucking last presidency, Biden, sat down with Biden in the city of San Francisco. And if you can find like what they did as far as cleanup, there's like a buddy of mine sent me a picture of like
A giant broom pushing the homeless down the street.
Oh, it's unbelievable. Yeah. It's unbelievable. Like the
plow.
The picture of the cleanup of San Francisco before and after the Chinese Jinping or whatever.
Jinping, yeah.
So I just find it weird that Newsome, who was the mayor of San Francisco prior to being the governor of California, had already been to China 3 or 4 weeks earlier under the guise of basically a clean air, under the guise of economy, the
green agenda.
Basically, but
he cut the line.
Anybody that's been to China knows. I mean, you see fucking tractors burning coal, like going down the street. I mean, it's just unbelievable. I mean, there's just fucking. I mean, there's a difference between the clean, what do they call it, the clean coal or.
But I did read though that they did announce that they're going to make a commitment to exploring.
But I just think it's awfully weird, the triangle. And then I watched the last episode of The Circus, and they were talking to Carvel, James Carvel,
the Raging Cajun.
It's like one of my favorites. And he was just talking about different things they were talking about. But one of the things he said is that he's pro-democracy. And I think that everybody, I think that even Bill Maher and everybody else that, people have really gotten on Bill Maher lately because they say that he's become so Republican. And I look at that and I say, I just think that like, and you and I have had this conversation several times on here, where it's just like the far left and the far right are so fucking out of their minds, and it's like I don't think like I take it right now as Donald Trump looks at you're either MAGA or you're a Democrat. I don't think he doesn't. The Republicans aren't. He doesn't look at them as his team. Like he's it's almost like you're either MAGA or you're Democrat.
It's become a thing. Remember when the Tea Party was a thing for like 10 minutes? And it was like the Tea Party wing of the Republican Party was becoming its own thing, the exclusive club, right? So it didn't stick and didn't catch on like the MAGA thing is, but it's similar to that. It's cultish. It alienates the rest of the party, which isn't always a great idea. But yeah, I agree. But now the Newsome thing, I don't want to get off that yet. Could conspiracy theorists begin to say
that this is going
that
to
a
be
plan is in? Right. Go ahead.
Yes. Well, I mean, Biden, when Biden ran, Biden said that he was going to be a transitional president.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was one of the things that was brought to, and then when you look at it now,
poll numbers,
and the fact that he's going to be 80 shortly. So you're talking about somebody that's going to be 86 years old when they get out of office for the second term. I mean, that's, and I know that he's got the fucking booster, so there may be something to it.
Yeah, let's play this little clip.
Do you think are we going to let the cat out of the bag?
I think that people want to know. Part of what we do is we educate, and I think people think that they're fully human still that are listening to us.
Yeah,
but we have some knowledge that they're not.
And there's a lot of guys out there that they've never fucked around on their wives, and all of a sudden they have. And they're like, I don't understand why I did that. This might be, and their wives are questioning them also. This might give them a chance to explain to their wives, baby, I'm not at the wheel anymore.
Here it is. This is at a MAGA rally, I believe. Just need a little audio, and we'll be good. For anyone listening, we are looking at a gentleman in a red, white, and blue stars and stripes cowboy hat, I guess a leather jacket, on his way to audition for the open call for the Ted Nugent story. He will probably...
Wait, the people who got the vaccine are no longer human?
No, and they're actually owned. They're enslaved by Pfizer or Moderna, whoever they took the shot from. So they're public. They're their property.
People who took the vaccine are owned by Pfizer now and are not human.
Genetics has changed, so they're not human anymore. So they're a BORG Genesis that's owned by Pfizer, or they're BORG Genesis that's owned by...
And there you have it. We are in Laguna Hills talking to people. Apparently, if you've taken the vaccine, you are no longer human.
Not only are you not human, Kevin, you are BORG Genesis.
And I mean, I hate to say it, but I mean, I could not get casted in the movie Dog without being fully vaccinated, and lo and behold, I was proud of the movie. I thought it was a great movie. I thought I enjoyed my part in it. I loved seeing my friend Channing and my friend Reed. And but if
You
I
paid a
would've-
price for that, though, Ken.
I am no longer human. I'm BORG Genesis. BORG Genesis / Pfizer.
Right, because there's the BORG Genesis Pfizer, there's the BORG Genesis Moderna, and a very large part of the population, you realize, is now BORG Genesis.
BORG Genesis.
Right.
So when you say the end of the human race, do we no
Beginning of
longer
the BORG Genesis?
That's and that was the whole thing. So if Bill Gates was saying how we needed to lose several million or billion people on this planet in order to function and with sustainability with natural resources and food, and I just haven't noticed my eating habits are slowing down or anything else. But maybe it's just because maybe I just haven't been shifted on yet to where I'm not in control.
Well, but though gifts that you're talking about, like drilling yourself for 45 minutes straight, I don't know that a non-BORG Genesis could do that.
Well, I did that as I'm talking about sixth grade, 6th and 7th grade.
Oh, so okay, so that's not in any way connected to your BORG Genesis powers.
I'm quite sure now I might be able to go 7-8 hours
because of the BORG Genesis.
Because of the BORG Genesis.
Now I'm BORG Genesis Moderna. But I wonder, am I BORG Genesis Phil Collins or my BORG Genesis Peter Gabriel Moderna? Like, because there's that whole thing too.
Right.
The BORG Genesis Phil Collins Moderna, or
I mean, so do you find yourself like in the I mean, is it sledgehammered? Like what's like going through your head?
Right, I know. I feel like I'm more. Actually, what's going through my head, I have recurring visions of a tennis player with long hair and a headband and a bad beard.
That's Bjorn Borg.
Beyond Borg. I am
You're
beyond BORG
Borg
Genesis.
Okay.
Phil Collins. Fuck,
Okay.
man.
See, I always get that drum solo, that do-doom, 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 do-doom.
In the air tonight.
Yeah, I always hear. I mean, and when you listen to that song and it comes on your radio, and you're like, "Oh yeah, I'm going to listen to this until the drum solo," and you think that drum solo is much sooner than it is. It's almost at the end of that fucking song.
Yeah.
But now that I've become BORG Genesis Collins, I don't care.
Right. You don't care anymore.
No, as long as I hear it.
Right. Because that was a good cut from him too. Don't care anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I learned this myself recently. Now we got a lot of freaking BORG Genesis out there right now. I'm wondering if, like in some kind of Hunger Games way, there could be some kind of competition for a thinning out of the BORG Genesis population. Maybe the Modernas square off against the Pfizers.
Or do we take ourselves and, for the common good of mankind, we combine?
Oh, we join forces.
BORG with the BORG World Order.
Right.
I swear to God, Steve is. He's outer body tonight. This is
his BORG was activated tonight somehow by something.
Somebody got a hold of our boy, and I mean, it's just so. But then again, I mean, Trump says that he got vaccinated.
He did. Yeah.
DeSantis said he was vaccinated. They all claimed vax.
Well, listen, the party, and of course, I don't know. Of course,
So
the
maybe
political
this
party the guy was a part of with the cowboy hat. I mean, it could be Democrat or Republican. Who knows? But he didn't say he wouldn't vote for a BORG Genesis.
No, but he didn't say he would. He could be. I don't think Ted Nugent got vaccinated.
He probably didn't.
No, he was too busy killing deer.
So maybe everyone that hasn't been is gonna begin to resemble.
Maybe that's where the Civil War is going to be. The BORG Genesis versus the fucking
The Nugent the Nugent Exodus. Choose another book. Yeah. Well, there's a lot to sift through. I'm sure.
So
since coming weeks,
since we're
I'll
on
be blaming a lot on my.
And it changes everything.
Steve reporting that Ted Nugent has publicly stated that he refuses to get vaccinated, likening vaccinated people to stupid and sheep. No mention of BORG Genesis, but that's obviously what he meant.
Yeah. And I did not know he'd be right, but it turns out, I mean, he was spot on. So here's a question I have for you.
Go ahead.
Okay, we've covered the Mideast crisis that we have, and actually before I came down to the condo tonight, I watched and it looked like they were actually finally really picking up and starting to get some aid. I think the pressure of the world is pushing.
Humanitarian effort,
yes,
for the civilians in Gaza and hospitals.
But so Palestine basically had the Gaza, and then they had the West Bank, correct?
Yes, of course.
Okay, so my question is, why is a landmass that's clearly on the eastern border of Israel called the West Bank? Because it's on it backs to Jordan, correct?
So there it is. The West Bank is within. So it's the border on the west.
Right.
See right there. So yeah, it borders.
There's
it's to the east of Jordan, but it's on the west of.
Right, but as I'm saying, it's not the West Bank of, So I just don't understand why that's considered the West Bank.
I don't know who named it. Probably a BORG Genesis.
And then I also wonder this: how many people have ever thought into the Suez Canal? And the Suez Canal handles between 11 and 15%. Maybe I'm going to say it's 12. So it's 12% of all shipping in that region goes through the Suez Canal. And if you look at, it goes 6 hours one way, 6 hours the other. There's no back and forth on this thing. How much oil do you think goes across up that Suez Canal into the European Union?
Sure, a ton, sure.
Right. I would say 70% of the oil is shipped up that Suez Canal.
I'd agree with you. West Bank, by the way, got its name. Translation of the Arabic term Adifa al-Gharbiyah designates the territory situated on the west side of the Jordan River that was occupied in 1948, annexed in 1950.
Okay. I was curious because I was looking at the map last night, and I just said, well, how the fuck is that the West?
You know, we
But
talked
it's-
today about, you know, what we said today, this afternoon. We don't want to be too technical. We don't want to be too, like, people work a full day. They got a lot going on. Or maybe they're doing the morning drive with us on Monday mornings.
Right.
They don't need to be hammered by intense C-SPAN terminology.
Right.
You know, a couple of everymen, hopefully on a maybe on an elevated level. Certainly, all of our audience.
I'm
doesn't
just
agree
hoping
with
that,
but
so if nothing else now, if you just happen to be watching Jeopardy and they hit you with something about the West Bank, boom.
19 coined in 1948, annexed in 1950.
Yeah.
Heard
What
it on Kliq
is?
This. What is? Yes. As long as they don't have to do the Arabic translation that I murdered a minute ago.
So
Tommy Damon also wanted to get in this week. Said, normally I catch this show about an hour after it starts and just watch it from the start to know that's not being in the moment, but I can't help it. I love the intro from the child saying that this podcast has adult discussion and foul language, or however she says it, it really sets the mood. And, of course, the intro song, which always reminds me of Goodfellas, around the time when they've done the heist and the loose ends are being dealt with. Anyway, there's T's beautiful masterpiece, Sophia, at the end. And, of course, Nash and Ollie, magic that happens in between. Very succinctly put, Tommy.
That was kind.
That's a journey through the whole show. And finally, I did want to acknowledge Whiplash Dynamo for the strangest comment this week. Nash should be in the next Predator movie like Jesse Ventura was, a sexual Tyrannosaurus. Maybe that's another shirt. But you can, if you ever get tired of Big Sexy, you can be the sexual Tyrannosaurus.
Or I could end up with Sid Caesar.
In
I
what?
mean, out of respect.
Right. I just pictured like the little Tyrannosaurus arms.
Right.
You know, going a full 60 minutes on the...
You couldn't get to it.
Hammering off. Right, exactly. You'd have to lean in such a fashion that would...
Yeah.
We should tell everyone that tonight, Monday, if you're listening to the live drop on Monday, well, tonight, November 20th, is our next Nash and Friends, and it's with an old friend of Kev's, somebody we... Actually, here's some trivia. Do you remember when we wanted to interview Alex Shelley first? It was actually with Saban also, but it didn't work out. But where did we try to interview them first?
And Flair's last match.
Yep, in Nashville, absolutely. Tried to get them to come on stage with us. So
we tried to get them, but they were too busy.
they were booked. But you know what? It is going to happen tonight. Okay, one half of the Motor City Machine Guns, part of Nash's squad in TNA, with those hilarious vignettes. We're going to go through it all, man. And Nash and Friends is about you, too. You are one of Nash's friends if you sign up at KliqThisTV.com. KliqThisTV.com. You get to be in the audience here like our friends, and then you get things like Nash and Friends get to talk to Alex and Kevin tonight. So
we're gonna let's talk a little wrestling.
I did want to bring a few things up, if that's okay.
Well, go ahead. What's on the top of your head?
Well, I saw a thing, and it's only in a very cursory way wrestling because Dwayne Johnson's involved.
Okay.
Could have been anybody in this news story that would have intrigued me, but he said he was asked to run for U.S. president by, quote, multiple political parties. To which my reaction was, I mean, I get it. Everyone loves The Rock, right? So popularity index off the charts, the Q rating, right? But both parties, without vetting the issues, have sat down with Dwayne because they are so starved for a likable, electable candidate. You don't even have to espouse from your heart the tenets of conservatism or liberal.
I think at this
agenda.
point, if you're
Are you
below,
just popular?
I mean, I think at this point, if you're below 60 years old, you're fine. I mean, perfect.
My daughter got a call from the RNC the other day. I told her to hang up the damn phone. But yeah, you're right. Maybe it's an age thing.
I can't believe Scott pulled out. Boy, that's fucking borderline fucking 1%. Just, I thought that his demise was Ohio going 60-40 on pro-choice.
That's going to be a problem for a lot of them.
Yeah, and then the next day having a debate, and then coming up there and Scott saying that he had always been pro-life, and he was for the 15-week limit on abortion, which he wasn't. He never. It was Lindsey Graham that brought that up. He'd never jumped aboard that ship. He tried to jump aboard it that night. Haley just beat him with a stick, and he just. I mean, it was, and if we look at it now, it's 7 states that have voted on the abortion issue, and all 7 have voted pro-choice.
Yeah.
So
folks are going to have to walk back comments, right?
Well, I think that's so. So I'm Donald Trump, and I'm up by 93 points to the next closest Republican, and people are just like, I think Donald Trump, like the DeSantis said, like, I think Trump needs to tell the country no, because the minute Trump walks on that debate stage, the first thing the moderator is going to say is, "What's your opinion on pro-life, pro-choice? Where do you stand?" And he's going to have to put himself in a box. So why wouldn't you get the nomination and then determine at that point which way's the best to take the rudder against if it's Biden or it's Newsome or The Rock?
Yeah.
Or Beyond Borg.
You know, since you and I are both
BORG
Genesis, Brandon Douglas suggested Nash and Oliver 2024. Van Bogelin's going to be the campaign manager. I think Jen's going to design the shirts. We got to work on a slogan, man. 4 years soft. 4 soft.
I think I'd rather be hard.
4 hard?
Yeah. Or maybe just for you. Just a little something for you.
There you go. Dwayne, by the way, has described himself as independent politically. Calls himself a centrist, but he did publicly endorse Biden in 2020.
I'm quite sure that he was. I'm sure he voted for Obama. I can't see Dwayne voting for Romney.
No, he probably voted for Obama. But
people are going to get a chance to vote for our boy from West Virginia and Romney, and I think they're talking about teaming up
for
president.
This election?
Yeah, what's the fuck? The guy just dropped out of the Senate.
Manchin.
Manchin and Romney. So you got Manchin, who's been corrupt as fuck with coal for his entire career, and Romney's a two-time loser, and ran the wrong way during the when there was there was a crowd of insurrectionists / tourists coming his way, and if it wasn't for the
tourists,
well, just trying to be fair, don't want to pick sides. But if he wasn't pointed the opposite way, he would have got hung instead of. But then again, it'd be the first time fucking Romney was ever considered hung, so he'd have that going for him.
Oh my!
Boom.
You know what? Hung or not hung, Mitt needs to consider that when it comes time for grooming.
Oh, did you get yours?
I got my Manscaped Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra Kit. Beautiful. Guys, are you ready to spice up your Thanksgiving as we dive head first into mountains of mashed potatoes and cranberry sauce? Let's talk about the unsung hero of the holiday season, the Manscaped Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra. That's right. It's time to go cold turkey on your old razor and take care of your own turkey leg with the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra. Visit manscaped.com. Use that code KLIQ, Kliq, for 20% off and free shipping. Enjoy Thanksgiving in style with the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra. Gobble, gobble, boys. Don't let your poor grooming be the topic of dinner conversation this year. With the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra, you'll be the talk of the table. For my men who go back for seconds, Manscaped's Performance Package 5.0 Ultra is the ultimate bundle for the man who deserves it all. This bad boy's got the whole plate and dessert, baby. It's got the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra, the Weed Whacker 2.0 ear and nose trimmer, Manscaped's liquid formulations, 2 free gifts. Now that you've tackled the fur, it's time to make sure you smell like royalty with the Crop Soother aftershave lotion and the Crop Preserver, the anti-chafe ball deodorant. Once they touch your sack, you'll never go back. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code KLIQ, Kliq, at manscaped.com. Guys, I am not playing. This kit is awesome. It's so much fun. It makes shaving a pleasure. Whether, Manscaped has brought you their beard products, which Kevin uses, and then for the body grooming, there is nothing like this kit, which just arrived. I was very surprised, Kevin, that yet another kit has been put together.
You know what? And I love the beard trimmer, but it's because it's become such a habit to optically appear to add 2 inches to my hog on a weekly basis.
There's nothing like it.
No, I mean that's. And then what if your loved one or your partner or whatever, like they kind of look over like, and then they just think this like, is his genitalia grown? And then they get a little bit closer, and then they get a whiff of that ball
Crop
sacks.
Preserver. Oh yeah.
Oh, boom.
Absolutely. I don't know how they do it. It is such a.
They come at you like Pete Rose head first.
They slide right in.
Right in there.
Right.
And I'm telling you, I don't have 45 minutes to spare, so I'm not getting started.
So, and this is, by the way, this is approved for both humans and BORG Genesis.
BORG Genesis.
Yeah, it is safe for both. Been tested on both, and you are safe. So, guys, go get that 20% off. Okay, use that code Kliq.
It's actually LBGTQ across the board.
LBGTQ BORG.
BORG across the board, and that way, because everybody needs to get a little bush cleanup, a little pit cleanup.
Oh, absolutely. And I don't know how they do it. These things are they're so precise, they're so sharp. Of course, we've all used trimmers in the past that have a very coarse cut, and you feel the coarse cut on the hair. This is a smooth slice. They've got that light, that LED light. You can see where you're going, baby. So go ahead, do it. Be thankful this holiday season for the best gift of all from Manscaped. Your balls will thank you. And your partner will too, like Kev said, right?
And the BORG Genesis universe will just really accept you.
It'd be a great name for a faction, maybe in WWE.
BORG Genesis?
Call Paul. We're gonna give him that one.
Okay.
No, you may not have noticed, but China's a mess economically.
Oh, fuck. I mean, it's. When was it that they did the first piece on the ghost cities? Was it like 2013?
I think the first place I saw it was a 60 Minutes piece. And you know what, 2013 sounds right, about 10 years ago. It's certainly been going on for 10 years, but my awareness, the first time I saw that shot down the streets, those high-rise buildings.
There are more empty condo and apartment buildings than there are people in France.
Yeah, I saw that. You could take France and fill all the vacant buildings.
Like 65 or 70 million. Yeah, these are Chinese cities that have basically no inhabitants.
Yeah, it's creepy. It's like pandemic-like almost. The empty buildings, the empty streets. Now, China, real estate is it's probably
It's the only.
The most prominent way to invest. They're encouraged. The government encourages investment in real estate. As a matter of fact, the Chinese government controls and can legislate real estate prices. So they've actually, part of the problem here is people are not able to sell. The market is not allowed to go down to a level that would endanger the system. So China legislates the drop. You can't drop it beyond a certain percentage.
But look at the production that they had for all those years.
Oh, they rode that wave. That was great. All the
because
materials
they were building. It'd be the equivalent of building 4 New York cities, over the course of 13, 14 years.
Yeah.
Look at what Biden spend in the infrastructure bill.
A lot.
Was it a billion?
I don't know.
Steve, can you find
he's
out?
all over it. He's all over it.
Yeah, he'll fucking have it. He'll have it broke down into fucking into sectors. How much cement? I'm telling you what, though, man, it's and then their unemployment at 16 to 24 years old is over 20.
It's 21.7% or something.
Okay, so it's over. I know it's over 20.
Yeah,
which is on par with like Spain, Greece, like a lot of the Euro countries that are having like really bad. But there's I just saw a thing the other day where it's called some kind of child.
Oh, where they're employing the kids to not enter the. There's difficulty getting jobs, right, for the youth coming out of college. So they call them I'll find the link, welfare jobs, or they use the term like that.
They're called like no, they actually had a kid that was playing with
welfare jobs. So welfare jobs, as they're known in China, include roles as receptionists, office administrators, security guards, and community workers. For those coming out of college not able to land jobs at any of the big companies. And then we were talking today, the one where the family employed.
Yeah, that's the one I'm looking for.
Paid their own kid. Like the monthly set was like $400 a month or something like that, which was considered $800 a month
Which is, yeah, that's considered actually like not bad.
And to stay home, to like do the laundry. So the parents become the employers.
So.
Because there are no jobs.
Oh.
Their debt, too. It's not helping things. Just a worldview issue. Problems all over.
I'm still looking here. I haven't given up.
But
there's a term that they
indentured servitude.
Well, I mean, they consider it. The Chinese youth consider it called lying flat. They're lying flat, like they're at home or relying on their parents, not actively looking for work, true unemployment. This is the one that because China stopped giving the number of unemployment at 20%. So here's the number here. It says lying flat at home or relying on their parents were included and therefore not actively looking for work. The true unemployment rate for youth could be as high as 46.5%.
Right, because they won't count being paid by your parents to take
Right.
out the garbage unemployed.
Full-time children's work centers.
They did. You know what? The last 2 years they didn't include it in the annual report.
No,
at all. The youth unemployment number in China, because it's devastating.
They go to work in cities and earn a monthly salary of $419 to $559.
That's so it wasn't even 800. It was right.
Yeah, that's, I mean, just sociologists say China's traumatic experiences with strict pandemic measures have contributed to the number of young people radically rethinking their life goals and parents supporting them. Mentally and psychologically, people in mainland China are still recovering from the COVID-19 pandemic. And also the fact that the government will not allow these young children to consider themselves Genesis.
BORG Genesis.
They won't allow them. They say that the BORG, there's no such thing as BORG Genesis in China. Think about that.
The number on the Build Back Better Act for money that was allocated for infrastructure and social spending was $1.2 trillion.
Oof.
Of the $3 trillion.
Well, that's what I meant to say, trillion. I didn't mean to say billion. Yeah. I mean, hell, we spent $1 billion. If somebody says South Korea is having problems with some of their coin-operated car washes, hell, send them $55 billion.
Billion. Kevin,
1.2 trillion.
Yes. It's time for the tap out again, Kevin. We've been treated in the last 2 weeks to a little joke.
I have what somebody said. Somebody told me that they really don't like this new segment tap out. And I'm thinking, exactly. That's why it's because you're tapping out way earlier.
You're
than
tapping
I
out
am.
before it plays.
Yeah, you're tapping out. So it's just like.
It's like how much like douche chills can you take?
Right.
This one this week, well, it's brought to you by BLUECHEW. I just like
Do
to
you remember
remind
when we had
everyone.
that argument over the girl screaming that was like crazy?
Yeah, it was at a meeting in
said
San
that-
Francisco, a public forum.
Yeah, and I said, see, I would have tapped immediately on that.
That would have been a good tap out item.
That would have been a
actually,
great. I thought about that. I'm thinking, what would make me tap out? Besides fucking watching the world news.
It's true. I could just turn on.
Yeah, just turn on
CNN
world news
now
for,
or
MSNBC
for
6 seconds.
Fox.
I would tap out. Maybe an LA night match.
But the tap out is brought to us by BLUECHEW, our friends at BLUECHEW. Okay, let's talk about sex, guys. Remember the days you were ready to go, anytime, any place, whether it was the 75-minute session with yourself or with your partner. BLUECHEW has brought back that confidence. We're ready to go anytime. Maybe you just don't have a lot of time, right? Maybe the kids are downstairs playing. You gotta get it in. You gotta get in. You gotta get it fast. Can't be messing around. That BLUECHEW's the way to go. BLUECHEW.com, okay? It's a unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, Levitra, but in chewable tablets at a fraction of the cost. You take them anytime, pop it, chew it, and do it. You'll be ready to go.
I think the people that are buying BLUECHEW, the majority of them, are shipping the kids off to Grandma and Grandpa's for the Friday night, open up a bottle of wine, and I think they're going for some time.
Going for the 3-minute jam.
Yeah, they're like he's. And the thing is, when you take BLUECHEW, because the amount of blood that is trapped in the tissue of the penis, you get. I remember the first time I ever took a Viagra. And this was before BLUECHEW, back when Viagra was,
pills.
You could either buy a fucking a car or buy a fucking buy a Viagra. But and I remember taking one and looking down, going, "Who the fuck's penis is that?" I mean, I was like, phew. It was like fucking the first time you took a cycle of steroids and you fucking got a pump. You're like, holy shit.
Well, you look down, so that blood engorged tripod leg, and yeah.
Damn right, man. It's a good bit. And the thing is people think that because it's blue, they're thinking it's Viagra. They've got the Cialis, they've got the
You can choose, yes, by the ingredients. Do you want it?
Yeah, don't think that because it's blue, it's Viagra. You can get a 20 milligram Cialis and fucking rock that shit for 36 hours, dog.
Yeah, you could choose the ones that keep you available in your system all day, 24 hours. You could do the 4 to 6 hour one. You do that all at the website, guys. You go to BLUECHEW.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers. Once you're approved, you get your prescription within days. And the best part, it's all online. You go on, you sign up, you do your consultation, bang. It's at your door in discreet packaging.
And can we also look at the packaging here? Let's go back to that. Okay, look at that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, would you rather have that in your wallet? Okay, or something with a big fucking dragon on it, where you look like a douchebag. It's
sleek packaging, classy, sleek, minimalist packaging.
If somebody was to take a peek at it, they wouldn't know what you had. They're just
popping a mint.
But if you had some giant fucking dragon head on the side of the puck,
you'll have a dragon head in about 20 minutes after you take one of those is what you'll have down there. So. Listen, guys, we have a special deal for you. Try BLUECHEW for free when you use the promo code NASH at checkout. Just pay $5 for shipping. That's BLUECHEW.com, promo code NASH. Receive your first month free. Visit BLUECHEW.com for more details and important safety information. We thank BLUECHEW for sponsoring this week's Tap Out. So this is the most uncomfortable interview I've ever seen. And as a former interviewer myself, it makes my penis head go in like a turtle's head when I watch this for embarrassment. I don't know what the backstory is, but Jerry Lewis was the most uncooperative douchebag for this interview. It's unbelievable. But so see how much before it gets too embarrassing and you have
He
to
doesn't
bail.
look. He doesn't look. This looks like towards the end of his run.
Toward the end, yeah, probably 90 years old, I think, probably. So let's see here.
Have you ever thought about retiring?
Why?
Was there never a moment that you thought it might be time to retire, or you would want?
Why?
You come from a generation a little older, and I think of Bob Hope, George Burns, Sinatra, people you knew, many of whom didn't want to or never retired either. Do you see similarities with them?
None.
None? What do you think drives people like you and them to want to keep working?
Because we do it well.
And how about what's different about performing now for you than say 20 years ago? How is it different for you?
It isn't.
Not at all.
Not at all.
Have you made any?
All right, tap.
There it is.
Yeah, I mean, because it's just to me, it's like it's not Jerry Lewis's fault.
But not Jerry Lewis's fault.
No.
Well, you didn't like the questions?
It's don't waste my fucking time. You're asking such stupid fucking questions. So, do you think you got more of your life ahead of you or less?
No, retirement, performing, not dying.
Yeah, no, but it's the guy fucking doing the questioning is a fucking douche.
Not your best.
If you can answer everything that you fucking every question with a yes or no, you're pretty much you're not doing a very good job. I would say, what does it feel like when you used to say Tiffany hit it, and that number would roll, and it would, you'd be 22 hours into that telethon, and you knew once again, man, that you surpassed what you did the year before. You were doing so much good. Like, what was that feeling like?
It was good.
That would not be what you'd get from him, because you're putting him over. You're not asking fucking, you're
when are you
done,
gonna retire?
Yeah, you're done, motherfucker. Like, where'd you get that shitty fucking sweater? I don't remember.
And you know what? Whatever it is, 7 or 8 minutes, it does not get any better. All right, Dear Sexy has returned 2 letters, 2 actual Dear Abby letters, if they were written to Kevin Nash, looking for advice from Kevin about all sorts of things in life. The first one, Dear Sexy, my husband comes from a family of practical jokers. When I first married Vince, I tolerated it. However, after my sister-in-law Vicky sent a stripper to my office as a birthday surprise, I asked her politely and firmly to stop. All my request did was provoke her to continue hounding me and escalate the jokes. Her last joke was the last straw. Vince and I had planned a dream vacation to Europe. Vicky called our travel agent and attempted to cancel it over the phone. She had our confirmation number and my credit card information. It's lucky that I'm close friends with the travel agent who knew it wasn't me. Thinking we were victims of a credit card scam, she ended the call and contacted me at work. Besides nearly costing us thousands of dollars in unrefundable travel costs, we realized Vicky had snooped through our personal belongings. How else could she have obtained my credit card numbers and the confirmation number? This has caused a huge rift in the family. While my in-laws agree that what Vicky did was wrong, they insist in the next breath that we shouldn't take it so seriously and we need to have a sense of humor. Vince and I are standing firm that Vicky is no longer welcome in our home. She's never apologized and seems to enjoy showing up at our house, forcing us to deny her entry. How can we get her to stop harassing us? And how can we get the family to recognize the seriousness of this? That's from Ticked Off in Houston.
Killer.
Now if
somebody fucking, I'm getting ready to go on vacation with my wife, If I fucking got to the airport and they said, "Sorry, man, your flights have been canceled," and the fucking $3,000 you're dropping on the fucking your hotel that's non-refundable because you know. Oh, and by the way, Vicky thinks it's funny.
Yeah. That's like a British bulldog. That's like a Dynamite Kid type rib. It ceases to be a rib at a certain point, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, man, I ribbed myself to rib you, but I cut the brake lines. What? That's not a rib. I mean, that's not a practical joke when you make reservations. If you make reservations for a restaurant, take the time to get dressed, drive 20 minutes, valet your car, get out with your wife, and walk in, and your shit's been canceled because it was a joke. It would take everything I had not to fucking go into Sean Connery mode and give her a fucking backhand.
So you'd advise that because the husband's family is not down with the cutting her off thing. Obviously, they're telling her just to get a sense of humor and get over it.
Is Vicky the wife's sister?
Sister-in-law.
Sister-in-law. Yeah. Well, I think it's pretty fucking. I think you need to punch her in the face if she's the sister-in-law.
Right.
If you tell me, to me though, it'd be like anything else. I'd get a temporary. I'd tell her to leave. I get a temporary restraining order. If she showed up at my fucking house, I'd have her arrested.
Okay.
I wouldn't fuck around. That's bullshit.
There you go.
If that's her idea, either that or fucking let her come over and shit in her purse.
Right.
Because that's always funny.
Right.
Oh, whoops.
Right.
Looks like somebody shit in your purse there, Vicky.
Or maybe when you prepare the meal,
a
little Tammy Sitch sandwich there.
I think she's up for her hearings.
It sure is. And she's looking at 26 years, for God's sakes. All right, second letter. Dear Sexy, when we married in 1998, my husband Grant and I agreed we would never put our parents into a nursing home as long as we were physically able to care for them. After our home was built, my father-in-law, Papa Jake, moved in with us. Papa Jake is now 73, wheelchair-bound from a stroke, and an alcoholic. He gets into his motorized wheelchair every day and heads out to the local bar, which is a mile away. When he returns, he's completely intoxicated and sometimes falls. Papa Jake is also belligerent towards me, and I don't want our 2-year-old son living in this environment. I didn't bargain on this when I married Grant. Grant refuses to tell Papa Jake that if he can't live by the rules, he needs to leave. I've reached my limits. I love Grant, but I can't live like this anymore. When is enough enough? That's from Fed Up in New York.
Well, the first thing is I would cut the husband off from any affection whatsoever.
That always works, right?
Yeah, that's, unless he's wanting to get an egg timer. I'd cut him off. I would probably I don't know much about wheelchairs, but I'm sure they've got to be charged.
Say, put a lock on the wheel or something so the fucking guy can't get out of the house.
Take some fucking wire cutters and cut a couple of fucking wires with it, I don't think he'll be walking the fucking mile.
No, clearly not. Yeah, immobilize him further.
Or, again, kill him.
It's always the go-to. That's funny. That's going to be every answer on Dear Sexy will be, well, you could kill him, and then you go to the other answer.
And see, Kevin Nash would never fucking say that.
No, but the BORG Genesis.
But the BORG Genesis, under the influence of prick Jerry Lewis, I'm fucked. I have no tolerance. these are the problems we've got to look at in life right now. This BORG Genesis thing I'm starting to get it now.
Yeah. You're starting to look back at things like, for example, our picks this week, our football picks.
Absolutely.
Affected by the BORG Genesis that we are. We did not do well.
Those were not human picks.
No, we went 2-0-1. And
2-1.
0-2-1. I'm sorry. Of course. 0-2-1. That's,
0-2-1.
I borged out for a moment. 0-2-1. And so this puts us, for Christ's sake, firmly in third, behind Foley, who's in
at the
first.
same time, tied for the amount of losses.
Tied for the amount of losses because we have the three. Yeah, because we have the three ties.
Right. So
only 16 wins to Extreme Life's 18.
Yeah, but we pull up, and fuck it,
we have the same amount of losses as the first and second place
right,
team.
That's what I'm saying. So
14,
it's
14.
So that's
so we're in the game.
Yeah, we're still. It's we're gonna take Georgia against Tennessee.
Yeah, Georgia. Yeah, we're getting.
We're giving Tennessee 10.
Given 10.
That Tennessee offense is pretty rotten. It looked horrible against Missouri.
Dallas, we have giving 10.5 to.
That's the Panthers,
Carolina,
right?
Yeah. So I
they're
don't see why
they're a really bad football team.
And the Chargers giving 3 to Green Bay. God's sakes, I think
and
that's
the Chargers looked. I thought they looked good against Detroit. Made a hell of a comeback on them. It wasn't a comeback. I mean, Detroit really couldn't push away from them, and it just came down to the wire.
Yeah.
So
and all this for the King of the Mountain tournament, which is being organized by DraftKings Sportsbook. There is so much to be thankful for. Family, friends, food, and NFL football all week long. DraftKings Sportsbook is keeping your Thanksgiving week full of action. New customers can bet just $5 on the NFL action to score $150 instant in bonus bets. Okay, no matter your appetite, there is something for you. Money line bets, where you're just taking a straight winner or loser. Parlays, put a couple of bets together and increase those odds. They give great bonuses on the website, like 50% profit bonuses if you win your parlay. There's always great stuff popping up. It's a lot of fun, guys. There's prop bets. You could bet on individual players' performances that day. So much more. You name it, they've got it. Okay, and that's where we are doing our King of the Mountain bets. You heard what we bet this week. So I want you to go download the app, okay? DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use the code TKNP, which stands for The Kevin Nash Podcast. TKNP. New customers bet $5 on the NFL Thanksgiving action and score $150 instantly in bonus bets. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, and use code TKNP. The crown is yours. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY, which is 467-369. In West Virginia, visit 1-800-GAMBLER.net. Please play responsibly. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resorts, you must be 21 or older in most eligible states, but age varies by jurisdiction. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details and state-specific responsible gambling resources. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/football terms. Thank you, DraftKings. It's been a lot of fun doing this tournament. If I asked you how many matches Roman Reigns wrestled in 2023,
you know what?
Matches.
I'm looking at my side notes over here that just got that that Steve. I don't know if Steve's, but I was Steve was just saying that Becky Lynch was on Celebrity Jeopardy. I thought it was something else. I don't. Let me think. Can I guess?
Well, let's start with your career. Of course, you remember when you were front and center,
Right.
biggest name in the business, like Roman is now. How many obligations? Now, it's not a full year. We're only 11 months in. How many matches would you have maybe had in 11 months as a top name?
Minimum, I would say 275.
275 fucking matches.
With a month ago.
Because, of course, we're counting your tapings were 3 a night,
Yeah,
right?
Tapings,
Your TVs.
you'd always darks, occasionally doubles on Saturdays or Sundays.
So wait, on a taping, I'm just realizing this. On a taping, you could do 3 televised and a dark. You could do
And a
4.
dark. You could possibly do 4. And then, like when Sean and I were tagged, like when we tagged together, there were times when we would do like 3 squash job matches, and then so what do we got here?
So Steve's bringing up the year 1994, and he has highlighted. He's on fucking fire. Are you on meth tonight? He's highlighted all the times the name Diesel has appeared in the year 1994, and I mean, I don't know. You have a total? Did you sit and you got your abacus out?
Did they miss any?
I haven't seen any cards you weren't on yet. I can tell you one thing for 1994, in the month of November alone, you had 21 in just the month of November with
Yeah, because that's the rest of it were off days.
Right. In a 28-day month. So, yeah, there's a TV taping. You're up there 3 times. So the number is, for Roman, 11.
Get the fuck out of here.
11.
11 all year. Pay-per-views, everything.
11, and I'm not shitting on him. This is a testament. He is over like pussy.
God bless him.
And he only had to bump 11 times.
And we sit here and I adamantly defend him that he should not lose the championship.
If you could be that over. Now he's working every week. He's there. He's on camera.
And he's
selling the product.
You know what, man? Fuck that. I'm one of those guys that he fucking. If I am not sitting there going, fuck, I had no idea it was 11. I would have thought 50, 60.
But you know what? How many? If you're the biggest prize fighter in the world, if you're Mike Tyson, how many fights did Mike have in 1988? 3? Right?
Well, look at Fury right now. He fought the MMA guy. He's got another one coming up. I don't think that he fights fights 2 or 3 times a year.
Yeah,
and he loves to fight.
You don't have to do 200 dates. You guys were schmucks.
How would Tyson Fury gets knocked the fuck silly, and against the fucking the MMA guy. That Tyson took under his wing. I can't remember. His name starts with an N. I can't remember what his name is.
Memory loss is part of the BORG Genesis that I'm experiencing the side effects.
But they asked him. It was like the crown jewel was coming up, and they asked him, had he ever thought about going back to WWE? And he said, "Fuck that, man." He said that pro wrestling shit. That's too rough on the body.
That's unbelievable.
There's his name, Francis Nagawu. I just call him Francis BORG Genesis. It's just easier.
Stripes? Francis?
Yeah.
Lighten up, Francis.
Lighten up, Francis.
I had a question for you, speaking of your days.
A little Sergeant Hulka.
Hulka.
Well,
If you were booking today, if you were booking the
I'd like to take a big swing at you, Serge. Well, then why don't I take off my hat? Okay, I'm done.
You done with the Bill Murray? We're going to cover Lost in Translation next week.
Great. I'll be Scarlet.
So, Outsiders / NWO, in your prime, not today. Maybe Scott's with us still, okay? And you had to book the invasion, not of that product, but of current WWE.
And Scott and I are 36 and Hulk's 42.
Coming back. Right. Coming back.
Okay.
Show up. Who would you work with? How would you get the heat that you guys got back then with the current roster? How would you do it? Could you even? Or was it?
The best thing you could do probably would be attack NXT first.
Oh, interesting.
Attack NXT and, like, say Bronson. Like the up-and-coming guys, beat the fucking dog shit on all of them, and then go and I tell you how the easiest way to do it is just the three of us just wait. I mean, bring us into WrestleMania and have Cody finally got Roman beat, and then come down and just fucking pull the rug out of. Because at that point, you want the fucking you want that same degree of heat. That's because at that point, if you don't fucking pay that fucking Cody runoff by then, so I would say that would be, if I had to book, let us fuck Cody at WrestleMania.
I want to go to your NXT thing for a minute because this is really interesting. I didn't even consider that when I thought of this today. So you go in, you squash the guys there. Do you take over the show like you guys did it? Like, do you change the logo?
Oh, fuck yeah.
The NWO logo gets painted over the NXT. Shows in black and white, all that
so
shit.
Then what is so what do they do? So now it's like, do they send their A-team down to squash us?
Down to NXT.
And then we just keep coming over the top.
Or maybe they don't cross, but you don't go over. So they're saying every week on Raw, come here, bring it here.
The fact that we would come down and attack Shawn Michaels' promotion,
right,
and beat the fuck out of Shawn would be huge.
Oh God, is anyone out there salivating right now? Oh God, amazing. So, all right, so you guys finally, you could work that NXT thing for how many months?
Like, several. There's great talent down there.
So then you got,
and the thing is, there's a couple like Bloom's kids down there, Steiner's kids down there. They got some fucking bodies.
You turn the performance center into a hotel bar, basically after the matches.
Oh, I mean, it's we bring in Mitchell.
Oh, with the plastic spoon.
No, but see,
action.
I say to him, hey, can you do me a favor? We're gonna do the Coke thing again, but could you go out and spend like maybe $20 and get a long fingernail done, so you could use a fingernail so that have that optic of
Make
fucking.
it cool. Make it cool.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine fucking actually thinking through something and making it fucking where it looked pimp instead of fucking look like somebody fucking ate the last mashed potatoes out of the KFC fucking fun pack?
We expect more from Billy Corgan.
But then again, are we fucking, is that Billy Corgan?
Or is it BORG Corgan?
Exactly. Do-doom, 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 do-doom.
What if Steve was saying, what if NXT becomes a call-up for the NWO now?
Oh.
So, there's a logo. That is the NWO NXT. So now you start
Did
putting
you see
guys
the
in there.
NXT with the O?
Yes.
NXT 2.
Right. There it is. You know who could be who could be the valet, the official valet? Could be the girl in the black outfit that was next to James Mitchell. Maybe it could be the new representative, female.
We'll just use her. We'll use her against Otis.
So how does it get brought into Raw now? So you guys are doing this on, you take over the show. NXT becomes, talk about a boost to the NXT ratings, becomes the NWXT, and how do you get lured over to Raw?
I think we get Steiner's kid. We might, at that point we might have 6. Kid Waltman would be with us at the initial, so there'd be 4 of us instead of just the 3. So he would be with us. Yeah. So we get a couple of fucking studs. So we got the now way there because Judgment Day. You're gonna have to. We'd have to get a girl. We'd have to find a because it's very female. There's if you don't have, but I think at that point we I think that Charlotte's kind of got pushed out of the way a little bit. So it's kind of in the. So we get Charlotte. Charlotte Flair jumps because she's kind of the old school.
Right.
She jumps.
Now Sean's role here, Michael's role here,
right?
Because you've invaded his territory, kind of turned on him. He is he the one that then begins to enlist help from Raw?
I think so. Because Taker came down, like those guys that came down for that. So
right.
But at that point, we could get. God, if you just sent Taker down, we got enough guys to get some heat on Take.
Yeah. You appear at the pay-per-views in what capacity?
Front row, hard camera.
So you're not in the ring yet?
No, we don't. We because we would have. Number one, they would never allow us in the building. We'd never get in the building unless we had tickets.
Right.
So we have the. You're not allowed in here. Fucking, we have tickets.
Do you make contact with any of the talent in the ring before you screw Cody out of the title, or is that the first time one of you hopped the guardrail?
We show up several times and do nothing.
Right. That's what I mean.
Yeah, we show up several times.
Would the product today have the restraint to allow you guys to draw out the angle like that?
Paul would.
Show up to 3. Paul would do it?
Paul would.
Show up to 3 pay-per-views and touch nobody. Just sit in the crowd.
I mean, how much more restraint you need not to fucking put the belts on Cody than they have?
Right.
Let alone here he is coming out of the fucking water Rambo style for War Games.
Right.
I mean, he's still fucking featured, focused. And then that fucking that next Monday night after you fucking beat down Cody, you walk out there together and Hulk grabs the microphone and goes, "So, what do you guys want to talk about tonight?"
Well, so here's a good point, though. You guys were all great talkers now. So who could, if the NWO was going to add, you probably wouldn't add 50 members like the first time, but if you were going to add a little bit to the faction, who could come over? Who could talk? Who has the cool, first of all, to wear the black and white, but then could also get on the stick and do it?
I think LA Knight would be a good selection. It was a plant all along.
Nash on his fucking podcast
He was always the one that was gonna fucking be fucking implant. He was the sleeper cell.
The sleeper cell, right?
See?
Get him in the t-shirt.
Oh, he's almost in Diesel wear there.
A little bit, little maybe little Diesel, little Stone Cold, maybe a little merger there.
Yeah.
Couldn't have him overshadow the rest of the NWO.
Hey, if you want, somebody's got to take the bumps.
Love it. Love it, love it.
Yeah.
All right, this is the high spot of the show, so to speak, because we're going to remind everyone, Kevin, that Mickey Ray Sinatra has brought us his Get Blitzed Lit Aid. Still legal. You're going to, if you don't know what this is, you haven't been listening to the show, for God's sakes. It's Delta 9 THC Sippin' Syrup. Okay, this goes right in your beverage. Kevin likes a little Sprite Zero with the key lime, and you can do it as well. Any beverage, a tea, a white soda, as little as a teaspoon. Fast onset, 5 to 15 minutes. Nano-infused means it goes right into your bloodstream, okay? Bypassing the breakdown in the liver. This is not gas station Delta 8 bullshit. This is the real deal. THC, Delta 9, the THC you get from marijuana. If you're in Maryland, you can visit the Stay Lit Smoke Shop. But for the rest of us, it's legal to ship from the Get Blitzed website to you without a med card as long as you're over 21. And right now you can save 15% by entering the code KLIQ, K-L-I-Q, at checkout. Go to get-blitzed.com. That's get-blitzed, B-L-I-T-Z-E-D.com to try the Delta 9 THC Sippin' Syrup Lit Aid from get-blitzed.com. Use the promo code KLIQ, click to save 15%. And it is time for Ask Nash. Hashtag Ask
before
Nash.
we go,
Go ahead.
It's like the two Dear Abbeys that we did, the Dear Kevins or whatever we call them.
Dear Sexy.
Dear Sexy. It's amazing how much our society has changed, that people would write in and ask, what should I do in those situations, where in today's situations, it's like nobody would put up with that shit.
We're a more hostile society.
We have so much hatred in our world, and so much it's like, man, like that, like, what should I do?
Yeah.
What
My
should I do?
husband doesn't want me to say anything to his sister, who almost cost us $10,000.
What should I do?
Cut a bitch.
Shit, man. Give her the fucking to like the fucking Goodfellas with the ice pick in the back of the.
Thought he'd never shut the fuck up.
Fuck up.
That was right outside Don Cheech's, I think, in the alley behind.
Exactly.
OIF09 Vet says there have been a couple of occasions on TV in WCW, including Super Brawl 9 in 1999, where Scott is wearing his razor elbow pad under or beside his blood drip one. Any reason or story behind it?
Probably because that elbow had a bone, like some bone chips in it, and anytime that you had a cage or something like that, he'd double pad it up.
Gotcha. Makes sense. Preston Fabry says, Big Kev, do you remember the first president you voted for and why? Much love
Ronald
from
Reagan.
Portland, Oregon. Very funny, Kev. One of the many things we also have in common. My first presidential vote was a Republican pull for George Bush Sr. Against Clinton. I didn't think I was 18. I didn't think, I thought the emphasis on the pop culturization of Bill and the job of president wasn't serious enough. I didn't think they were taking it seriously enough. I did vote for him the second time. That proved me wrong, but yeah. See, we've voted both ways. We've gone.
I think that's the only time that I can think. Yeah, it's the only time I've voted Republican.
Oh, dying over here. I need my colostrum. I need my injection. My
B12.
No, C7523 gimmick.
No, that'll make you feel better. You need your fucking super tonic is what you need.
That's right, and the oscillococcinum. Speaking of which, Cav Manning says, long time no cock. Hope you are both well. Time to talk cock. We know the legend of Flair having a giant piss pop. Did Kevin ever see him swinging around the locker room, and can he confirm?
I've never seen I wasn't
never meat gazed Nate.
No, and I never I wasn't on the back of the plane for the plane ride
from hell. Yeah.
From hell, I missed that. So,
all right, live audience, what do you have? Let's see. Step forward. Psych the microphone. WWE LMAO. Sean, we are from the Northeast. Ain't no way you still got the pool open in November. I do. Come on, man. We are better than that. Is that Britt? Britt, you were absent last week. And I even gave you a shout out for something. I can't remember what we wanted to ask.
What do you mean
her.
by have the pool open?
I didn't close it down. You know, you got to close it down seasonally. You got to put the winterizing chemicals in, put the pillow in to keep the tarp above the water level, disconnect the pump and everything. You know, it's a pain in the ass. But
I've never lived someplace where I had to.
Exactly.
Atlanta,
Phoenix, and Florida, right? Well, Detroit, but I don't know if you.
Yeah, but we didn't. I mean, that was it. There was just one person, I think, in a mile radius that had one of those out of the ground round pools.
Sure.
You know.
Listen, whatever it takes, swim. What else we got in the house here? I saw somebody else pop up. Headingite says, what are your thoughts about Scott going to ECW in 2000? I think it was only 3 matches, but did he talk about it with you? Why was it so brief? That wasn't ECW in 2000. That was Vince's ECW in 2000.
Yeah, it wasn't, but because he just didn't. I don't know. He was good. 2000 was not a good year for Scott.
Personally.
Yeah, he just wouldn't. Yeah,
in a good place. Wasn't in a good place. Okay, what else we got? Brandon Douglas, I'm curious if you could shed some light on this. The last few weeks when I've had a rough day, my shuffle playlist starts at Sophia. It seems to always start with T when I need it the most. Very cool. So he puts it on random shuffle, and it pulls Sophia as the first song.
My boy's an angel.
Amazing. Thank you, Brandon. That was excellent.
Yeah. Thank you.
Robert out of nowhere says, Jake the Snake said someone threw a fish at Scott at the gathering. Is this true?
Not when I was in the ring.
I never heard that. So I don't know, Robert. It might be more wrestling folklore. We got to find someone who might have been there. Rocky Monroe, there are so many next generation wrestlers. Did T ever show interest in becoming a wrestler?
Never.
Fan of the product, or just watched
Never.
because you were there?
Barely watched.
Okay.
I think he watched it when he was young,
Mm-hmm.
you know, but by the time he was 8.
All right. What else from the audience? Let's see. Let's wrap it up with some of our friends here from the KliqThisTV.com subscription. Dan Updike. Kev, what year did you move to Daytona? Always went there as a kid with my dad. Stayed at the Thunderbird Motel. Nothing but fond memories when I visit now, even without him around anymore.
Moved here. We've had this condo since '96.
That was the first property?
Yeah.
Right. So 96.
So we went back and forth between like the first year we did 6 months here, then 6 months in Phoenix, and then the next year we did like 8 months here and 4 months in Phoenix. And I said, "Fuck, let's dump that big house." And in the meantime, they put me in the booking, so we sold the house and I bought that loft.
Why did you keep the two? Just not knowing? Had you always planned to sell it, or
what, the Phoenix house?
Yeah.
Tamara really liked the desert. I wasn't a fan of it.
Right.
Wasn't a fan of. I'm a water person.
Right. Something from
I
the
can't
house.
swim, but I like to look at it.
To stare at the water.
Yeah.
James Bedford, with you being the proud owner of your own THC strain Jackknife, when was the last time you got too high, and did you think you were going to be the first person ever to die from weed? Oh, God. My daughter at college this week. You answer first. Go ahead.
I never thought I remember one time it was me, Scott, and Kid, and we were in Vancouver, and it was like the mushrooms were harvest, and we ran into Tommy Lee's ex-wife, and we hung out and went to
Pamela.
No, it's Tommy Lee's first wife.
Yeah.
And a beautiful lady. And she gave us some like brownies, and she said, she basically said for us to split them up, and she gave us 3 of them. Like to keep them, and have them for tomorrow, but split one of these up, and of course we each took one. So we left. We went back from the bar. There was a gym. We were staying in this travel lodge, like in Vancouver, and we went. Next to it was a 24-hour gym, and we went in there and we worked out, and then we laid in the tanning beds, and we'd smoked. We smoked some weed, and the combination of the weed and the mushrooms, we were in that fucking. I was in that tanning bed for like a minute, and about came out of my fucking skin. Scott was the same way. Kid didn't get in it, But we were so fucked up. The next day we were on Victoria Island, and we had a shot over there, and we drove over, and we were in the parking lot. I've told this story before, but I think it's so classic.
Mm-hmm.
And we get out of the car, and we're parked, and I sit on the hood with my back against the front windshield, and Sean sits next to me,
Mm-hmm.
and Scott's just sitting in the car, and we're all fucking just rocking like fucking. We're just rocked. And Kid looks at me and he goes, "I tell you what, man," he goes, "barely feel this fucking boat moving." And I said, "Sean," I said, I pointed up ahead. I said, "See that fucking boat up there?" I said, "That's the ferry we're getting on." I said, "This is the parking lot. You don't feel the boat moving because we're not on a fucking boat." He goes, "Oh."
Wait a minute. I never heard this one.
You've never
You didn't
heard
tell
this?
this here.
Oh fuck,
Oh
man!
my God.
So we get on the ferry and we go upstairs. And I fucking picked up the phone and asked for John Ballsacks. And they're paging John Ballsacks. In the meantime, I walk in and Kid's getting like pizza, yogurt. He's got like his whole fucking tray of food. And he just walks right by the lady at the cash register and goes into you sit down. I looked at her. I said, "I got it." And we ate some food. And we got to the building, and we put some mushrooms at the coffee.
Oh.
And Yoko was running the ropes. I mean, like a tenth of a mile an hour. I mean, it was like,
Unbelievable.
It was. I was thinking another time we went somewhere. It was on an Indian reservation, and they had this arena, and we went out back and we were smoking fucking weed. This was during the no weed time, and we just said, "Fuck it, man." We're in Canada. We scored some weed
in Canada, right?
And we looked up, and there was like 300 Native American or Native natives looking down this glass window at the three of us on the wrong side of the fucking trash dispenser smoking weed. They're pounding on it. We're like looking at them going, I just said, "Just don't sell it." And we were getting so, fuck, man.
You know, back to the question, which was, can you bring the question back up for a minute?
Have you ever gotten too high where you thought you were going to die?
Too high? Have you ever gotten too high where you thought you were going to die from weed? So I find that, you know, my daughter's in college. She's doing very well. But, of course, I get the little tidbits every once in a while. Like, "Hey, Dad, you know, I had some rum, just wanted to try. Dad, had a little vodka, I'm a little too, had to try that. Dad, tried a weed vape the other day, just want to try it." So Mia, are you there?
Yeah.
All right. So why don't you answer what I had, this fan's question, which was, bring it up again. I'm going to read it. And this is Ask Mia, hashtag Ask Mia this week. Fans can write it and ask her. It said, the question again, please. Whoever's in charge over there. The BORG Genesis is wearing off on Steve. They asked, "Hey, have you ever had so much weed that you thought you were going to die?" What did I have to be treated to today? What story did I have to be treated to today?
Okay, so the other night I wanted to try something for fun, and I kind of I was doing fine at first. Like, I was eating and everything. Like, I got food. In the middle of me eating, I literally felt myself step out of my body.
But what did you do? What, it wasn't from the food?
No, it wasn't from the food. It was from it was from the weed. I was sitting with my friends and I physically felt myself step out of my body. My entire body went cold. And then I remember blinking and it was like in slow-mo. And I was like, oh no, something's going on. So I go to my friends, I'm like, guys, I don't feel right. And I was like, I really need to lay down. And so I lay down and like I still feel really weird. I'm having like panic attacks on and off and I'm crying. And I'm like, I don't
$66,000 a year for this, by the way.
Mom, I'm really scared.
What did you smoke? What did you smoke? This was a vape?
No, it was just a regular joint.
Oh, like a paper joint? You're so old school.
You got to be careful, man. There's the idiots.
Yeah, that's about it. It was really scary. I did think I was going to die, and I had no way of controlling it.
Hold on. Kevin's saying. I'm going to tell you what Kevin's saying now. You can't hear him, but I'm going to translate.
Yeah,
this.
people put fentanyl in joints now. You
have to
really
be careful.
Careful.
People can put like fentanyl in joints, which is like a super potent heroin, which would kill you.
I don't think that there was anything in that.
But it could be, you schmuck. I'm saying that you don't know what the fuck they put in there. You're just taking a joint from some chick.
We watched her roll it.
But what was in the grass?
I don't know.
Exactly.
All right.
If you're not ordering from Mickey Ray Sinatra, I don't want you to bother with it.
All right. Well, everyone on Kliq This, you heard my father lecture me.
Right, and it ain't over. Wait till I see you this weekend. All right, bye.
Oh, maybe I shouldn't come home.
Bye.
Maybe I shouldn't come home.
That's the answer. Stay at school and smoke weed. Don't fucking come home. All right.
Oh, see, that was my just having my son. It was just. But the one thing I remember sitting down with him when he was young, and I said, never put anything white up your nose. I said, period.
Right. Anything.
Yeah, I was talking about coke,
meth,
any of that bullshit.
Right.
I said, and I told my niece this too, and she didn't listen to me. And she did coke one time, and the last time I saw her, she said to me, she said, you were right when you said Nashes just don't do uppers well. I said, no, we're not rigged for uppers. We're all Allman Brothers, man. We want to get that fucking landing gear down. Like, we can't shut our brains off as it is. Last thing we need is fucking a line of coke. I fucking remember the first time I did coke, I was like, oh my God. I bubbled some fucking Jim Beam just to bring it down. Bring up some, man, everybody's like, what'd you think about that? I'm like,
Mm-hmm. I guess, what's the modern day speedball? Maybe like a gummy and a Red Bull?
Modern day speedball is probably fucking, instead of heroin and fucking cocaine, it's probably fentanyl and cocaine.
Oh.
That way you could fucking die.
Horrific.
Like, stay away from it, man. It's just...
Well, it's time to remind everyone.
Drink my red wine.
That Kliq This is a production of Butch and Sundance Media, produced in association with BORG Genesis and Podcast Heat, created by Tristan Nash, Kevin Nash, and Sean Oliver, the BORG Genesis versions of all three. Producer Steve Kaufman, graphics by Dominic D'Angelo, title sequence and audio edit by Wesley Burleson, theme song by Dale Oliver, technical research by Tristan Nash, copyright 2023, Butch and Sundance Media. Kev? Does your BORG Genesis want to do another one?
I don't have a choice.
service never answers a thing. Let us free to breathe in air we're supposed to breathe. Through twists and turns you've come to love me. Now I'm cold, I'm frozen. Baby, we're broken, and the customer service never answers a thing. Yeah, the customer service never answers a thing.